It has taken a while to arrive at this point that I kind of feel that most of us, most of you, have come to. And the point that I'm saying one has come to, or we are ready for, is the understanding the need to be with oneself. The understanding to learn just to be. The journey to get here started somewhere in 2016 when first I started changing the teachings to fit the Western understanding. This was the practice before when I was much more seated in Asia. And it is a journey to come to an inner state that you agree to be. You understand when I say you agree to be, I'm not talking about meditation or the idea they have spent out there. I feel almost all the understanding of meditation that has been spread is wrong, or it misrepresents. It takes a certain amount of evolution within oneself to explore, to study, that one realizes now I have to be with me. I have to learn to be with what is here. You see, what happens when you learn to be with what is here, you learn to be you rightly. Let me emphasize that. And the importance of that takes a while to settle in. I'm not sure what I'm offering you. You can call it like the conventional meditation. The idea of meditation out there is rather distorted. But this is meditation. Since it is labeled differently, so I'm at loss of a word. Maybe if I approach this way will help you. Real meditation is not a doing. It is an agreement for me to be with me, for me to be intimate with what is here, for me to become sensitive to stay with me. And it doesn't require a posture. It doesn't require many things that they say you need. But the agreement to be with oneself, it's not easy to come by. It requires an education, a traveling. It comes after you have observed so much about you, after you've learned, you have understood the complexity of what we are. So I feel like today, it's a very good day, that this invitation I can pass on to you. And maybe you can grasp it. That I say, can we sit together? Can we sit ourselves? Can we pay attention to ourselves? And this is not a simple mindless activity. It has got an incredible, profound meaning. The meaning is, might not be the right translation, but I have no choice. Like me meeting me, I know how to remain me rightly. Or I know how to be with me. It's like if you buy a new car. They say it takes about 3 months before you really get to know that car, especially if you buy a performing car. You cannot simply. It takes a while. The driver and the car kind of get married, And at one point you can handle the car. You know when the car is malfunctioning. You know what its ability, its weaknesses. Does it tail blow, and so on and so forth. What has happened to us is we are least acquainted with ourselves. And I'm talking about the acquaintance with ourselves is not necessarily a mental idea of you or a pursuit of an idea of what you want to be. It is meeting of you without an idea, just meeting you, being with you. being silent. And I don't want to use this word silent, then being silent becomes a meditation. I'm not going there. I'm saying just to be deeply in touch. In order to explain this, they say the eyes turned inward. These are words to describe it, but that carries its own misunderstanding. If I go back the history, somewhere 2016, some of my Western students started showing up. They were there before that, but it started moving in that direction. And I said, maybe it's time for me to address the West. So I'm not sure how many years, maybe it has taken 6-7 years for me to put some understandings down, some lessons down, some teaching down. That will not get you lost. More so, it will help you to wake up to this truth. I need to sit with me. Again, be very careful. I tell you all the pitfalls. There are many people who want to guide you to sitting with you. That is all rubbish. It's just, it is just a byproduct of an understanding. If you've ever been to a funeral house, and if you've ever met people who have gone through the tragedy of death, they're all in meditation and they're quiet. You almost see they're with them. Even if you talk to them, it takes a while to respond. But it's such a tragic situation that they're pulled within. They're sitting with them. They're paying attention to themselves. So I'm saying one of our greatest errors is we are not acquainted with who we are. I'm not talking mentally now. I'm talking actually. It's like if you want to know somebody, you have to be rather intimate, right? If you really want to know somebody, be stuck in a house or in a boat for many months and see, you get intimate. Whether you can survive it's a whole other thing. You really meet the other. And the other gets to meet you. But the error in that is you meet the other, but the one who met the other, it's questionable they have met themselves. So I invited you to listen to Master today to say, the time is ripe to offer this to the world. In a way that it will not go wrong. It will not become a cult, an idea, some kind of a pursuit. It is simply the recognition I need to be acquainted. I need to be completely in touch with this, not just physically, but actually I need to be with me. For most people, this demand never comes about. So they are least acquainted with themselves. And it is not a cerebral thing, it's an actual demand. There is an inward pull. You must understand, this inward pull cannot be produced through gestures, through sitting with eyes closed for hours. It cannot be done. I'm reminded of a story of a Zen master walking by, and he saw this young man meditating with eyes closed. So the master stopped and said, "What are you doing?" He said, "No, I'm meditating. I'm trying to." He said, go ahead, you do. And he took a rock and he started rubbing 2 rocks. And he was creating such a ruckus, it was disturbing the guy. So the meditating boy asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "Don't bother, you continue what you're doing." But he kept rubbing the rock. At one point, the boy couldn't take it. "Please tell me, what are you doing? You're creating such noise." He said, "No, I'm rubbing this rock that it will become a mirror." And the boy started laughing. So you look unwise. No matter how hard you rub the rock, it will never become a mirror. He said, "What you do will never mount to be meditation." He slapped him in that sense. That's not meditation. At a certain point of maturity, at a certain point of evolution, this becomes absolutely important, that I need to be in touch with me. It is almost if I ask you to walk on a tightrope, you will not be very chatty, You will not be lost to outward sight. You will be so with you because you have to balance on that rope. You understand? You'll have to pay attention to you in order to do that task because so much depends on you. If you're distracted, you may misstep and fall. What they do in the name of meditation is no different than what that boy was doing. Attempting, like what the master demonstrated, attempting to rub two rocks and make it into a mirror. It's not possible. But if there's enough lesson, enough education, enough insight, suddenly you see the desperate need for me to, these words will be translated badly, to be with me, to settle in, to be in touch, to be quiet. And suddenly, in that state, the A, the B, the C is present. I am. I say, you are my B. The space is C. Suddenly, I'm in touch with me. For most, the demand to be in touch with them is rarely present. It's never present. More so, the demand to escape being in touch with oneself in the name of entertainment or whatever. You see, the notion of entertainment is when I go to a theater, for the 2 hours, I forgot me. It's not that in that 2 hours, I remembered me. Right? I don't think you drink that alcohol to be self-aware. I'm not condemning it, just explaining. Please don't make me someone who condemn all of these things. They're part of life. They have their place. More so, I think the time has come for Master to offer, for you to sit with Master too. But in order to sit with Master, you must first come to realize the need to sit with you. And then I can offer. Maybe you can sit with me. And by that, what I've come to can be shared with you freely, which is how it came to pass between me and my teachers, my gurus, my masters. It did not come only through an intellectual pursuit. It came through it sitting together. They call it Satsang, simply sitting. But in order to come to that space, I must first come to this space that there's a need to sit with me. You see, right now, for most, the need to sit with them is not present. The need to handle everyone is there. Whatever they are, they make another belief and pretend they are that. You understand? That is why the world is incredibly important. The view of the other is incredibly important. Almost how I view me depends on how another view. So I work on another's view over me. Today, I feel like the time has come. The space is available, and I think there is a critical point of understanding. Do you know normally how this knowledge spreads is very beautiful, It is not the whole humanity is ready. Just enough, a small group is ready. It starts taking root. It can be your offering too. If you can follow this carefully. Maybe I was waiting for enough people to gather, right people, from the West, So this can actually literally be brought and offered. And by that, when you can be with you, I can offer me to you too. Now we can sit together. Here, Master Kafle, this is all that is needed, This is all that is needed. If anything else we do, we either doing to arrive to this point, or we are accelerating once you are in this point. That is all we are doing. All you need is just this. Nothing more is needed at all. And Master is speaking this after many, many, many years of working on this and also personally exploring countless things that possibly can be explored. To come to a simplest conclusion at the end, all I need is to recognize the demand for me to be with me. Please, it's not about meditating, This has become a mental thing. I'm meditating. And have you seen how difficult these meditating people are? They're always preaching something. They always think they're better than another and the rest of it. It's nothing to do with it. If you go to a funeral home or if you go to a tragic situation when people are sitting with themselves, they are not meditating. They don't know what that is. It is just an organic happening for me to turn, just to be here, just to come back, just to be seated. Of course, they took this and they mentalized it, and of course, many ideas are imposed. Remember, then it is an idea. Whenever the demand to fall within comes, through understanding and intelligence, and if you can be in the presence of someone who has come to his awakening, here, Master, again, nothing more is needed. Again, I'm very reluctant to use the word meditation, because there's so much mind to it. The way I would like to say it is when I recognize the demand for me to be with me. And in the state of being with me, I recognize the demand to be with another too. And just in that meeting, something incredible happens. Everything happens. You may ask, then why do we learn this, Master? Why do we the 6 right, the 18 right, and the rest of it? Why do we do that? No, there is just acceleration, you understand? There is just moving along so you don't miss what is already happening, just to give you an eye to see. Nothing is added, just acceleration, that is all. But in principle, all you need is this, but you go watch and see the difficulty you have in being with you. The difficulty in you recognizing the demand. It rarely happens, in life. Because our life is outward. Our demands are outward. We are convinced that if that person is not in the way, I'm okay. So we are only looking one direction. We are only handling the world. Even the so-called meditator exhibits his meditation to convert you, to convince you he's something special. That is not meditation. I use the example, it's a bad example. You go to a funeral home and you see people quiet. They are not telling everybody they are in sorrow or they are being quiet. No. It is just a natural pull. In the world, the demand for one to be with oneself rarely comes to pass. Maybe what Master wanted to tell today, maybe the time has come that I can offer myself to sit with you. Again, it stops there. Yes, Master have done countless work, written so many books, remember. They are just the clarification of this. And at most, when something is happening, to recognize what is happening. When Master was studying and exploring, I was finding out what was happening to me, not what should be happening. I was discovering, what is this that is happening to me? Then I saw other Master's story, what happened. Then I could recognize, oh my God, is this happening to me? But today maybe I gathered this gathering to probably announce the time for this has come. And we are ready to offer this to the world in the rightest way possible. If you study the 6 rites, at the end of the 6th rite, especially when you touch Arpanam, Jayam and Arpanam, the natural inward turn will happen. And what happens? Your acknowledgement, you are here, becomes absolute. You don't deny that you are not present. I am here. Not as an ego, not as a judgment, as an undeniable presence, I am. Now, what happens when we meet, you and I meet? The hope or the science behind it is, in this meeting, the strength to wake up to what more one can be is participated with. So whenever you turn within, you say, I need to come into being. And whenever you come into being, the demand to wake up to whatever you can be, known, unknown to you, is accepted. And an atmosphere is created for that to come to pass. And this is all that is needed. And the demand is to live an extraordinary life. Not to be lost like how most are. To live a precious life. See, right now, when your eyes not turned within, your eyes is outward. You yourself participating, dismissing you. You yourself taking away the importance of you. By that, you can never recognize the gift you are for all. And by being a gift to all, you get to be that for you. And that is the gift. You see, when my master named me, he named me pure meditation. Dhyan Vimal means pure meditation. Vimal means pure, Dhyan means meditation. I don't know whether it was a prophecy or an accident. I'm probably talking about pure meditation, not disorganized, regimented. So maybe today, it's almost like officially I'm inviting, and if you can, open it up to the world. Buddha used to call this the Buddha field. And in order to hold this quorum, I recommend in the beginning to start with the mantra. The mantra is nothing but the invocation for this demand for you to be with you. It's an invocation, a purification, that you wake up to that space you can be with you. By that, the other is the other, you are you. Then you escape the treachery of living out only reflected reality. You know what is a reflected reality? You're nothing but a compare now. If I have $10 more than you, then I'm richer than you. If I have $10 less, I'm poorer than you. And that is outward bound. And whenever you are bounded by the outward, you are not. Any one of you, that the sense of you derives from the outward, you are not there, sir. You are absent. Then that is rather tragic. Because you yourself has dismissed you. There's nothing here. And maybe the indulgence of our lives are nothing but trying to somehow survive that pain of self-dismissal. Do you know why love is sought after? Somehow when you fall in love, you turn within. And if the another is in love with you, they turn within. And then the A, the B, the C is established rightly. For the first time, you feel you exist. But most often it becomes very short-lived. Then it becomes a mental thing. And again we escape. I think we started this with a couple of years ago when I said, to organize some online meditation. And it has been running and you have done amazing work. My recommendation, open it up to the world, make it available. And the only thing we are saying is this simple wisdom. Don't be lost to the world. See whether you reach the point, the demand to be with you has come to be. And if the demand to be with you has come to be, I offer my presence to hold you. Then we can be together in deep meeting. And I stand by what I said. This is all that is needed. The rest is not needed. It's just hallucination. You may ask, what happens, sir, when this happens to me? When I turn within, sir, and I'm seated with me in deep sensitivity. And by that I acknowledge you are there too. What happens, sir? Do you know, suddenly this energy called life becomes celebration. What I mean by celebration is, it's in my term, it flows upward. It holds a creation. It becomes a benediction. And suddenly you see you're living life like a garden blooming. Almost everything begins to fall right. Even when death comes to pass, it is right. It is a byproduct of that celebration. But in order to turn within, an education is needed, a little exploration is needed. You can ask somebody to meditate, you can even teach them to keep their eyes closed. But if the pull hasn't happened, if they have not understood, it's a war. It does more damage than good. If you don't mind, I'll extend one more truth, rather personal. It's like a question somebody asks, what is your mission, Master? From the day I became awake, it's over 27, 28 years ago, there's only one mission, sir. It's simply to share what I've come to. And to share it, not verbally, to share it actually. So when Master started talking about the A, the B, the C, I was talking about the science of Satsang. Only when you turn within and you are there, then you acknowledge another is, let's say Master is there. Then you are, I am, we are. And that is enough for the all to come into being. I know it's such a simple truth, but trust me, it's been missed. In the name of meditation, people who have no business with it, which is not even happening, it's nothing but an exhibition story, another cloak they wear to differentiate themselves from you. In the name of this, that, and the other. Or it is hijacked by a philosophy. But you must understand, they miss the point, sir. Maybe today I'm acknowledging many of you have arrived to this space through your studies, through your exploration, through your work. You have done this work for the West. That the demand to be with me, the demand to fall within. But if I move one step further, for some it will feel like a failure, because the objective is never to turn within, to use the world to escape and pretend to be something. That is why whenever that fails, people move in. This has been the historical story. I add this. Like some of you might be studying the PAT or Enneagram or anything. All of it are nothing but tools that triggers the urgency, triggers the realization, triggers the hunger to be with oneself. The world says, why bother? Turn within and be in touch. I can use another to escape that. I can pretend. I can be somebody using another. You can be rather fairer than me and make yourself white and me not white. And by that you escape. So this has a truth of aloneness to it too, but the most beautiful way. When I use the word alone, you only remember when you're abandoned. No. That is not aloneness. Aloneness is me to me with me. Then you ask, what about another? I said, only then there is another, because I'm not using you for a reflected reality. Then I am. In that state you are. In that state we are. And in that state we are, that is. Master's wish, now, and if it can hold, for as long as it may hold even after my time, this space is offered to humanity. Without an ideology, without a belief system, without telling how they should be, without saying anything about it. Just an offering for people to turn within and to create a quorum that we do not engage in reflected reality. You see, the intelligent, smart fellow feels he's smart because he picked on some stupid fellow. How smart are you when you make another feel stupid, sir? If something we reject that. That my state of being depends on you. We declare my state of being is independent to me, for me, by me. And the faith is, and this faith will develop in time. All I need is just this, All else come to pass. There is no direct effort is possible. At most, if a guru takes you in, if a satsang unfolds, might be all that can help, nothing more is needed. And my wish is to offer this freely to anyone that may grasp it, without interfering with them, holding their mystery, If you may today, as an initiation to this, once Master finished his talk, maybe you can sit for 10 minutes in silence. And then if you like, a celebration would be befitting. But when the days Master can't be present physically, I would recommend, as usual, use the mantra as a way to provoke this quorum and then to sit with oneself quietly and hopefully together. You understand? The A, the B. You see, I don't need you to be with me, so I can be with me. But for the more, I need to acknowledge you. Just when I am, you are. When you are, we are. When we are, that is. When that is, one wakes up to realize I am that too. Thank you for being a part of offering this to all. I really thank you.